Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Heidi from My Reading Life, and I'm here today to film my review video for the Book Naturalist Book Club's pick for the month of April. So in the month of April, we read an Australian author, and that author is Rebecca Giggs. Her book, Fathoms, The World in the Whale. And this is a reread, obviously, since we're doing rereads here in 2025 to celebrate our 5th anniversary of the book club. This is a book that I very much enjoyed the first time, and I enjoyed it again the second go around. This is Rebecca Giggs reflecting on how the lives of whales tell us what's happening in the marine ecosystem. Can we look at whales and what the whales are experiencing and what we know about whales and learn anything about the marine ecosystem and what human impacts have happened on that ecosystem? And she is inspired to do this because there is a stranding of a whale on a beach in Australia. She happens to be in that area when this happens, and she experiences, you know, the sadness and grief and wonder of observing such a large animal in close proximity as it basically slowly dies. It's quite sad and quite distressing. Oh, I just noticed that this cover reflects. Isn't that gorgeous? It's a really lovely cover. And from there, it goes into all different types of things about whales. You know, whales as food source, whales as what are whale cultures like? What has the industry of whaling over the course of history done to whale populations? What does climate change and pollution, plastic pollution, due to the habitat that whales inhabit? All these things are addressed and explored in her different essays. I really like the way that she sets up the book. Each chapter is about sort of an overall overarching topic, and then within that, she sets out little short, almost vignettes, almost like very short essays that address different aspects of that problem. So for example, in the first chapter is talking about the history of whaling, and she goes through different little subsamples of that subject area. And I think it's a really interesting way to break it up in a bunch of information that might otherwise feel too dense for some readers. I will say that this is not a 5-star book read for me. And the reason for that is there's an awful lot of philosophy woven into her ruminations about whales. And I am not a person that particularly enjoys reading about the theoretical, philosophical, sort of, you know, existential things about science. I am much more a hard science kind of a person. I like natural history. I like to see the intersections of where humans and species interact, and what impacts that has. So I prefer that type of information rather than philosophical, spiritual type information. But both things are in here. And Rebecca Giggs clearly, she does fall into the trap a little bit of something that I don't like, and that's using a 50-cent word when a 5-cent word will do. I don't prefer that kind of writing. But I will say in Rebecca Giggs's case, I feel it's because she's a word nerd. She really loves words, and she really loves this topic that she's addressing in this book, whales and marine ecology. And so I just feel like she just delights in trying to find unusual words to use to describe these things. And so I give her a little bit of a pass on it, although I do find it a bit irritating at times. I did mark a little section, of course, to share with you so that we can get an idea of her writing style. And this is Giggs writing about a whale skeleton in a natural history museum. And this particular species of whale is extinct in the wild at this point. Such meticulous labor was undertaken to conserve this one whale in the museum, painstakingly mounted piece by piece and dusted daily. All the while, so many Antarctic blues were destroyed. How can this obscenity be true, that all the ingenuity it takes to preserve a whale can overlap with the industrial slaughter of them? Looking at taxidermies in museums reminds me now that the tendency to destroy individual animals might arise not from indifference, hubris, or greed, but from a very deep attachment. Specifying any organism for preservation and inclusion in an official collection suggests that, at the point of its death in the past, that animal was thought to ripen with a message for the future. People felt something for it. They expected their descendants would too, or that they should. The desire to maintain animals in a state of suspended animation is a desire to sustain a relationship with them and to advocate for that connection into the decades that come. It is the pleading of disappeared people for our continued enchantment with this marquee of other species. So you can see she is a very good wordsmith, and I definitely enjoyed my reread of Fathoms, The World in the Whale. And if you are interested in whales and marine ecology, I definitely think that this is a book that you should add to your reading list if you haven't already. Now, in May, we will be reading another book that centers on the South Pacific and Australian continent. And so this is Sea People, The Puzzle of Polynesia by Christina Thompson. So we're going back to that part of the globe again to talk about how early peoples navigated on the ocean. This book I read... I can't remember when we read this one, but it was quite so many years ago. And you can see that I still have my tabs in this one. I found this to be super fascinating. So I'm really looking forward to the reread of this in the month of May. I hope you will join us for that. I hope you've been doing a lot of really good reading. If you did read Fathoms in the month of April, please let me know what you thought of it. Did you find it to be insightful? Did you think it was a little bit too wordy? Did you enjoy learning more about whales? Just tell me your thoughts about Fathoms. I would look forward to reading that in the comments down below, and I will talk to you later.